Hello everyone and welcome to the Bearded Geeks, the weekly grab bag of topics covering movies, comics, video games and TV. My name is Jages, I am the Beard Master. With me today it's the marvellous, the awesome, the magnificent, the sensual Patrick Brown.
Hello,
how are you,
mate?
Sweetheart?
I am a bit merry, to be honest.
For full disclosure, full discretion, this is an impromptu recording. Paddy just came around to hang out tonight and catch up.
Yeah, just off the
we have seen a few things in the last couple of weeks. We're like, we'll talk about that next time we're on. But we've just watched something and we just wanted to come in and talk about it. So
I just come around, I was like, hey, there you go, mate.
Hey, come around and we're like, what's been going on? Let's have a drink. We've had quite a few Dubliners actually. Patrick Brown is a little bit merry.
That honeycomb flavour though, you can't.
Fuck, it's good, isn't it?
It's so good.
It is so good.
Yeah, it's bloody brilliant.
So Paddy's just come around and like, what are we going to do? Do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to play some games or whatever? And Paddy's like, how about we watch that episode of Black Mirror? Because I know you haven't watched the new season yet.
The one I've been hounding you about for like a year or so.
Yeah, you've been hounding me about it. I don't know why I haven't watched the first 3 episodes of Black Mirror yet, because I was all over Bandersnatch when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I watched that twice in a row, like the Choose Your Own Adventure movie.
Yeah.
Which was really good. I quite enjoyed it. But Pat comes around, he's like, hey, let's watch this episode of Black Mirror with Anthony Mackie and that. You know, they jack in, they play video games, it's technology, it's the future. I'm like,
future.
Yeah, all right, let's watch it. So he's a couple of nice tall glasses of whiskey and we sit down and we watch it. Now, we have talked about doing a Black Mirror episode, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we did say a week or two ago,
Like an overall, like all season.
Yeah, we just cover the whole show.
Yeah.
We did say a few weeks ago that we are going to do a complete Black Mirror episode, but because we've just watched this one, we're going to sit here and talk about it for 10 minutes, maybe 15, and we're going to spoil the fuck out of it. So if you haven't seen the newest season of Black Mirror, fast forward it 10 minutes.
And it's been out a while, so I'm sure everyone's had a good
been
chance.
out quite a while, actually,
Yeah.
So, what was it called? The episode's called Striking Vipers.
Yep.
And it's about 2 mates, and they used to be roommates, and they kind of share video game passion and stuff, you know, just playing games like we do.
It was like Street Fighter kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like a Street Fighter kind of game. And, you know, 10 years passes, they have, you know, one of them has a family and stuff, they've got responsibilities, they've grown up, and his mate comes back, he hasn't seen for ages, and he gets him the newest version of the game they used to play.
Yeah.
But it's got this new VR, like, setup. It's got this little VR thing which goes on your temple and it drops you into the game, like the Matrix. Yeah. You jack in, and you actually play as the characters.
Yeah, their eyes go all white and stuff, and then they just, in their mind, they're seeing VR inside of their head, aren't they?
Like, their eyes kind of go like my second or nearly first favourite episode of Black Mirror, The Entire History of You, where they record, and when they go back and check over the footage, their eyes kind of go that milky, kind of transparent white.
And it flickers.
So anyway, yeah, these guys, they play these games, you know, they jack into this game, and I saw it coming, I'm like, this is probably going to happen, and then it did happen. They started fucking in the game as the characters. One was playing as a male character, another one was playing as a female character, but they were like two best mates. Yeah. And they were kind of having this this fucking affair in this game, and the episode just kind of tripped me out. One, because the concept is just so brilliant.
It's a shock, isn't it?
And it just fits into like the Black Mirror like canon and you know, kind of the types so well. Yeah. And I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah. What did you think like when you first watched it? Because you've been trying to get me to watch it for ages.
Well, when I first watched it, it really did shock me in a way because usually
didn't see it coming.
Usually I can predict things quite well, and I was sitting there trying to analyze as it was playing out, and I was like, oh, something, you know, this is going to play out and that and this, and I actually didn't see that happening until they were on top of each other, and then they start pashing.
They were fucking in the game.
They start pashing their video game characters in the virtual world, start making out. And
Lance and Roxette.
Yeah, and that's the first time, like, your reaction was like on the edge of your seat, like, what?
Like, I knew it was going to happen, but at the same time, I didn't know. Yeah. But now that it's happening, I'm not surprised.
So I was in awe as well. I was like, what what the hell is going on? And
a little bit turned on.
You sit there in confusion. But also at the same time, I think the reason I enjoyed the whole episode as well was like, I was like, this is kind of like, it felt like it's not too far in the future that this kind of thing could happen.
It's the future.
I could relate because I play a lot of video games, a lot of online, and I mean, I don't hook up with anyone on there, but I was like, that's very, that can happen. Like I was telling you before, I said, so the last time I was single was 10 years ago or something stupid like that.
Before you were happily married.
yeah. So 2010 actually. Yeah, so 10 years ago.
Yeah, when we were living together at the time.
I feel like I've almost touched on that a little bit because I used to play PlayStation Home. You remember that?
It was like the little social media thing on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's kind of like Facebook on PlayStation.
But you had like a little avatar you made. And it's kind of like The Sims, but not really, but you're actually yourself.
It's a virtual world. It was more like Grand Theft Auto, but not as like, it's not a whole world you can go around. But
it was a virtual... It was a virtual little social world.
So you walk around as your character, kind of like Grand Theft Auto. It's that kind of angle, 3D, you're looking around and it's all structured like that. And you're just walking around this whole level and there's real people everywhere. They're all linked in. You all got your headphones on all around the world and you're all just sitting on your couch playing your PlayStation. And you walk around and you just meet people. That's all it is. You don't fight, you don't hit, you just walk around, and you
talk to people.
You literally just socialize. And it's like a virtual world. And I would go into nightclubs and
never heard this story. Just for full discretion, I've never heard this story. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
This is kind of sad, bit creepy, like... Not creepy, but like sad more because I was in my single days and I was like real bored and like lonely. And anyway,
as you get,
I'd sit on my couch. I was sick of all my games. I'd be like, I'm gonna try out this PlayStation Home, and it literally was like launching into a virtual world, and you're like walking around. And
tell me more. Tell me more.
I actually met all these people, and you can pay money to like upgrade your own pad. I had a penthouse and shit that I paid money for.
Microtransactions. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I did. I had like an actual penthouse and stuff, and you can invite people back, so it's more personal, and it's like you've actually got a place, and you don't have a whole bunch of people just roam around your house. You only get who you invite, and so it was cool like that. And I had a couple of little friends on there. They were just people you chat with.
I bet you did.
Yeah. But there was this one time, right? And I think I was in this is where it gets weird.
Wait. wait. Let me get comfortable. Right. Okay. Now tell me.
Let me take a sip.
Could you just move? You're a little bit drunk, and that mic's just a little bit too close to you. Could you just pick up that whole stand and just move it away from you like an inch?
Oh, yeah. Is it too close?
It's just a little bit too close.
How's that?
Because you're a little bit boisterous because you're a bit drunk. All right, let me get comfy again. Let me recline in this chair. Okay, tell me.
But anyway, so I was in a nightclub in this virtual world, and you're actually like dancing away, and it's crazy. It's like lights. It's there's like laser lights and everything. It's like one of the best nightclubs you'd ever been to, and it's just on my big screen. I'm sitting on the couch, but anyway, I'm in a nightclub apparently.
This is like going to the cinema and paying $15 to see a movie. I'm like, I can't wait to see where this goes.
But it doesn't actually go that crazy, but it's interesting enough. And so I'm in this virtual world in a nightclub, and you have all these dance moves you can select and stuff. And I meet people. I was meeting this girl, apparently. I have no idea who she really is.
Tell me more.
Could have been a dude.
It very well could have been.
But you just type on the keyboard. Like I had a keyboard on my lap. You can it's much quicker than typing on your controller on the
And he's just like, "G'day, my name's Bianca."
Yeah. How you going?
How you going? My name's Sally.
And
please continue.
So it's PS4, and I had the.
It's PS3.
PS3. Sorry, PS3. Yeah. And I had my keyboard all hooked up to it. So I'm typing away, and meet this person, and it just kind of got along, and you're talking enough, and then. Yeah, it got to the level where, we're kind of talking for a few days. So it'd be like, I'd look forward to it. The next day we kind of catch up again, and it's on the chat thing, and you go in the virtual world and hang out in the nightclub or whatever. And I was like, hey, come back to my, why don't you come back to my penthouse? Check it out. I was like, I just got this new penthouse. And And but yeah, and came back, had a look around, but that's it. Like, because you can't do anything more than just hang out and talk. And I mean, I'm sure other people have took it further, and they're like, "What's your phone number?" and talk.
I'm sure they have.
And I knew, like, they go into detail when you're having a chat. You talk about where you're really from, what do you do, and all that stuff. So it was kind of like meeting a real person, but. Personally, I don't trust all that stuff. I don't fall for it. You never know you can get catfished so easy. So I never actually went there. I was just doing it for more than novelty. And but that's it really. That's where it ended. I just kind of stopped. I was just like, this is a bit much for me. It was just the fact that I was in this virtual world and having kind of a semi chat with this person, if you could form a relationship if you wanted to over chats, and I'm sure many people do. But yeah, that's my experience. I just wanted to say it. And that's why I kind of related to this episode, which blew my mind. What are your thoughts, mate? You're looking a bit lost.
If that was a movie, I would go back out to the foyer and I'd be like, can I have my money back, please?
Yeah, I know.
Because I got nothing out of that
There's
story
not
that
much.
I wanted.
That's what I mean. There's not a lot out of it, but it was more just how I could like touch on it and
I liked the real life Patrick Brown stories. I won't say what they are here, but during our single days when Pat and I used to live together, and I'd like wait for Pat works real late. He's going to come home, and then he comes home, but he doesn't come home alone. And I'm just like, those were the days.
I never got anywhere though. I'm really not good with women, so.
Oh, you're pretty good. You got one tied down.
I got one. Yeah. Well, that was all right, but
it's because she settled. Let's be honest.
She was like, "You'll do."
She's like, "Yeah, look, I'm trying's really hard."
I was just like, "Thank you."
I'm so appreciative.
Finally, thank you.
How much have we had to drink?
Well, I had about a quarter of that bottle.
You had like a third of a bottle.
Yeah, about that.
I've had two very tall ones, and I'm on nearly my third.
Generously given me a beer as well. So
there's another one in the fridge if you want
it. Yeah, so this is good. Golden ale.
But I really liked that episode. It was good to get back into the Black Mirror world, you know me, because I fucking love that bleak shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I fucking love it.
Got a little half bleak at the end, you know.
A little bit bleak.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get together in real life and they're like, we're just going to have to kiss and find out. And I was just like, I relate to this so much.
Yeah, that was great. So after all the messing around on the video game thing, and then they're just like, right.
I was just watching it, mate, and I just saw you and me on the screen. I'm like, fuck.
And they're like, we got to meet in real life.
I'm just like, when you go home, let's play Grand Theft Auto.
Let's go. I'm going to fire up GTA.
Let's fire up GTA and play when you get home.
Is your character female or male?
He's male.
Oh, well, bugger it.
No, well.
2 males, let's get along.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We'll get on Red Dead, let's do some Breakback Mountain.
Do you want to...
We'll get the campfire going. Let's do it.
Man, Red Dead's a good game.
I'll get the headphones on. Yeah.
Red Dead is a fucking good game.
Get immersed.
I don't think I could be any more immersed in that game, to be honest.
I know.
It's surprising that Rockstar haven't tried anything VR yet.
Remember that one time we got on there and we were just like on the mountain. It was like nighttime, trying to find UFOs and stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We just had our headphones on. I think we're up real late.
I'm like, mate, I just saw a fucking UFO. Look at this.
Yeah.
And we had the map and we were following like all the clues and shit.
Yeah.
And then you ended up finding the UFO.
Did they have Bigfoot in that game yet?
No.
So there's no Sasquatches?
No, there's no Sasquatches in
they had them in the first Red Dead.
Only in Undead Nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah. Only in Undead Nightmare, because you can choose to kill the last Sasquatch because it's upset. Because it's like, I'm the last of my kind, you killed the rest of my family, just fucking kill me.
That's a real missed opportunity because, the first one, last of their kind, they could have had this one, which is based, 12 years before or something. They could have had them a few more Bigfoot's around.
I'm sure we'll get something eventually.
Oh, man,
I'm
that'll
sure
be
we'll
good.
get something eventually.
I remember running around San Andreas back when GTA San Andreas came out.
Oh, and the big mystery that there was a Bigfoot in the game.
I would search the web. I'd be looking for all the details.
It'd be on NeoSeeker.
Yeah, I did. and then I would be jotting it down where I could possibly find this apparent Bigfoot, and I'd go back and I'd play the game for hours and just look through the woods, and never came. But yeah, I was apparently there were hoaxes and stuff people would put up.
Yeah, there's big rumors about that for fucking years, years and years and years. Yeah,
I always wish there was some kind of Bigfoot in a game. I'd love it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Well, they had that one mission, didn't they? It was in. Was it this one? Where you're in the chopper and you got to zoom in with the infrared and you actually see Bigfoot in the trees.
Oh, yeah, but as soon as you see it, it's only there for a few seconds and then it disappears.
Yep.
That was kind of a bit of a wink and nod to the original.
Yeah.
San Andreas. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It was good. It was good, though. Yeah. No, I'd like to see more of that.
What we're talking about again?
Everything and anything.
Black Mirror. Oh, so it doesn't matter. We'll just go now.
Anything and everything. We're just conversating today.
Tell me, mate. Tell me what have you been watching lately? What have you been into, really?
Like I said before, I got this X-Files box set.
Yep.
So I've been making my way through the X-Files. I just started season 2 day before yesterday.
Yep.
So I've just been slowly chewing my way through it. I still have to watch season 1 of Watchmen. Oh, well, just the season of Watchmen.
I've been wanting to fire it up.
Keen as fuck to watch that. I really am. But I'm kind of, when you start watching a show and you're like, no, I'm watching this show. As much as I want to watch that other show, I'm watching this one. So I should just keep watching this one.
Yeah.
I kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit because I got 11 seasons of X-Files to watch.
I've been hearing a lot about that. Yeah, I've been
Watchmen,
really wanting. Watchmen.
Fantastic.
Sorry,
yeah.
I've been wanting to watch a lot of that.
And old mate from Black Mirror just there. What is his name? Yahya Abdul Mateen II. He's in Watchmen.
Oh, is he?
As well. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
in that as well. What was I gonna say? We've been talking a little bit actually, just to go off because we're just conversating today.
Yeah.
About our episode we did the other week. We were going to do a Witcher episode, but then we just ended up talking about...
tangent.
Yeah, the tangent episode where we just started talking about the universe and shit for fucking nearly 2 hours.
That was deep. I like
that. Was good. That was a good episode. I quite enjoyed that. But you and I have had the discussion since that, like, we quite enjoyed that, just conversating about anything and everything.
Yep.
So we've kind of decided that we're going to try and do a little bit more of that. Obviously, this is kind of what this has become now, but we've got a little bit of a thread through with this one because we do have a few things to talk about.
Yeah, it's good.
But the kind of things like, I'd like people to suggest some stuff maybe they'd like us to talk about, like just a random topic or something.
That's a good idea.
Maybe they'd be interested that we talk about. Yeah. And, we could do a bit of research and we can talk about something.
That's a good idea.
But there are some ideas in that I have, like... You were literally just talking about it. Both you and I kind of have this obsession with Bigfoot. Like, we just love all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
So I had this idea, because obviously we're a pop culture podcast.
He's out there.
But he's out there. They're out there somewhere. The truth is out there. I want to believe.
I act like there's just one.
There's one.
He's out
There's literally one, and his name's Harry. And he lived with the Hendersons. But no, I was thinking, because my train of thought is, I'd like to talk about a lot of stuff that's not really pop culture related. But in a way, I want to tie it back.
Yep.
So I had this idea, just as an example, Bigfoot. Say we did a Bigfoot episode.
Yeah.
We could talk about Bigfoot or whatever and that. Maybe people would be interested, maybe they're not.
Yeah.
But to tie it back to pop culture, I think probably what I'd try and do, if we did like episodes like that, what I'd probably try and do is, okay, let me go back to my video brain, my film library in my brain, and see if I can think of a good, like, Bigfoot movie or TV show or something like that I've saw that's actually really good, and then I could talk about that for 5 or 10 minutes, and that could be a good recommendation. Yeah. Which I actually do have a Bigfoot film in mind for that certain thing. But, there's other things in that I watch. There's this great YouTube channel I watch. It's called Dixie Cryptid. It's a Bigfoot-related channel, but it's more just a narrative story one. I've sent you a couple episodes, and they're quite good. But yeah, stuff like that. Like, if we do decide to do that, like if we go off on a kind of tangent episode, it's not really pop culture, movies, comics, video games, or TV related, we'll find a way to tie it back to that somehow, even with a recommendation or something like that. But that's kind of my train of thought at the moment with that good. Sort of thing. Another thing I want to talk about. Yeah. Now this is big, mate. I'm going to drop the ball on you. Are you ready?
Tell me, I'm ready.
All right. You and I, was it last week before, we went and saw sorry, I've had a few whiskeys. We went and saw 1917, which was thoroughly brilliant.
That was amazing.
We both enjoyed it. But when we came out of the cinema, I walked over to your car across the street.
Yep.
And we were standing there and we were talking about shows. And I'm like, oh man, we got to do a 1917 show. That was such a good movie. We can't not talk about it. And then I was like, we still haven't done our Star Wars show. We've been talking about that for a while. And then I said to you, I'm like, because take this as our official Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker episode right now.
That's right, yeah.
I said to Pat, I was like, look, if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, tune out now, fast forward it 10 minutes and drop back in. Yeah. I fucking hated the movie. Yeah. Hated it so much. And
Let's get it out of the way, yeah.
And I said to you, after seeing 1917, I don't want to do shows about shit movies. I don't want to talk about shit movies. And I don't want to talk about stuff I don't like. It's pretty rare that I don't like something. You know, I have problems with something, but I'll find the good in it. I'll find the stuff I like, and I'll pump it up. And then I'll be like, you know, I really like this, but then this was a bad idea, or I didn't like this aspect, or that wasn't developed enough, and blah, 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 fucking blah. Yeah. All the shit I always talk about, right? But I'm just like, you know, sometimes we can talk about bad movies if it's specifically we're going to talk about bad movies. Yeah. But I don't want to devote an entire episode because we don't get to do like a lot of episodes very often.
Especially when you think about it and probably most of the people that will want to tune into a start, like if they saw this movie and maybe liked it and then we just slam it the whole time. Because I don't think we had much positive things to say about it.
I had a couple.
Yeah.
But for me, it was overwhelmingly negative. So for right now, the next 5 or 6 minutes, I'm going to talk about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, and then I'm going to be done with it.
That's it.
So, what'd you think of Rise of Skywalker? Because you went and saw it before I did.
Yeah, that's right. We saw it separate times. Yeah, so I went in, you know, I was open to it. I had no hate from the beginning. I didn't mind the trailers. So, and let's like get this off the bat though. I'm not like a big Star Wars nut. So I'm not like a hardcore kind of like, oh, it needs to be perfect and all that.
You're a casual fan.
I was casual. I was just like, I just want to go in. I want to be, you know, I like Star Wars and I'm happy to watch this movie.
Yep, we've established this before.
Yeah, so I went in and the movie was done. And I was just like, nah, that was just like...
You were just like...
I was like, the first thing I got out of it, right, this is the main thing I can say about the movie.
Full fucking spoilers for Rise of Skywalker, by the way. Full fucking spoilers.
When I was done, first thing I thought was, I feel like I have seen that movie about 500,000 times. Like, I
don't want to see it anymore.
That's what I felt like. I've seen it once, but it felt like I saw it so many more times because I think it's just it just took the same steps of everything I've seen. It followed the same beats. It had the same kind of action scenes and the same payoffs, and they had so many deaths and things in that movie that were just false. They just like, we're going to pretend this person's dead and then we're going to bring them back. And like, you know, especially there's a lot of times. I think I said it to you once before how many times they did it in that movie. It was just nuts. Yeah. Even with C-3PO, and he's like...
Especially C-3PO.
Wiping his memory, and you're like, oh, it's even in the trailer. Yeah. And,
like, you know, they're alluding to something in the trailer.
And they're like thinking that, oh, that's it. He's gone. He's wiped. They wiped his whole memory. But then, 10 minutes later, he's got it all back. It's like a backup from the droid. Sorry, I forgot his name.
C-3PO. R2-D2.
R2-D2, that's it.
So here's the thing.
Got a backup.
Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO, who's always played C-3PO since the beginning, apparently he has a bit of an ego. And he doesn't really feel like C-3PO ever had a time to shine in any of the movies. He didn't really have a spotlight on him. I think he always went to like George Lucas and stuff and suggested things. What if 3PO did this or this? Or what if he was more integral to this bit of plot beat so he mattered more? And George was like, nah, I don't like that. Nah, just walked away. And so I feel like they kind of just like, okay, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. Let's just give it to him to shut him up. Yeah. So the whole thing is, you know, 3PO has like, he can't translate this fucking Sith language. It's blocked in his memory thing. But if he like resets and wipes his memory, it'll wipe all those protocols that have been installed that doesn't allow him to translate the language, and then he'll be able to, and the plot can progress. Yeah. But what actually happens is there's no weight to any of it. Like, fuck, this pissed me off. Not that I'm a C-3PO fan, because I'm not, really. But, you know, it just pissed me off because it's just fake outs, and it's weightless, and it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's just a cop-out. So they're just like, wipe 3PO's memory, and he's like, oh, I'm taking one last look at my friends who don't really like him, and who make no secret that they don't really like him. Yeah. And then wipes his memory, and then he spits out the translation, the plot's beginning to progress, and then he's like, I am C-3PO, human-cyborg relations, and then Poe says to him, yeah, that's going to get annoying really quick. Trying to make a joke out of it.
And Poe's just like, an arsehole to him the whole time, too.
Yeah, literally the entire movie he's an arsehole to 3PO. And he's just like, all that weight you've tried to set up, you've just flushed it down the toilet. And then literally like 20 minutes later, R2-D2 just has his memory backed up and just loads him back up. So, like, what's the fucking point? I didn't like any of it. I think, you know, obviously it was tragic that Carrie Fisher passed away, and they used some of the footage from The Force Awakens, but I knew that. Like, they used scenes that weren't good enough for the first movie to try and tie up, you know, because obviously they wanted Carrie in this movie, and then they felt if they just wrote her out completely, they'd be doing her a disservice or whatever.
Can't find it.
So they're just like, okay, let's use these scenes which we decided weren't good enough for the first movie and put them in this one, so Carrie has a role. Yeah. And then, you know, there are a lot of shots of Carrie Fisher from behind, who's obviously a stand-in actress and all this stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, the average filmgoer would be fine, but, you know, you, me, a lot of other people, we're more tuned in. We can see this. We can see the cracks in the armor. Exactly. We can see the cracks in the facade. And it's just, I just didn't fucking buy it. And I'm like, I know it's not their fault. They tried to do the best they could with what they had, but I just didn't believe it. Finn has literally done nothing for 3 movies. Like, in The Force Awakens was like when he had the most to do. And I saw this like on Kevin Smith said this about Finn, because when he runs into is it Jada or whatever her name is, the girl who used to be a stormtrooper, but then they revolted and that as well. Kevin Smith brought this up. He was chatting to one of his writer friends, and they were talking about Star Wars, and they were like, literally, if you dropped in one extra line of dialogue in that scene, it would have made Finn. It would have bumped Finn up to like the upper plateau. His
whole story would have been worth so much more.
And all it had to be was, you know, the same dialogue, whatever it was. I'm paraphrasing heavily. Oh, we were stormtroopers, but we decided to drop our guns or whatever. We didn't agree. And Finn says something like, why would you do that? And then she has some line, which is whatever. But if she had line, and this is fucking brilliant, I totally agree with this. The line was like, we heard what you did and it inspired us or whatever. We heard about, you know, you're mythic, you're legend, you know, to us. You're like, you know, the leader of the pack, the godsend, you know, I can't think of the term, but you know what I mean? Like, you're the guy who started the revolution, and you're mythic to the rest of us, and you inspired us to do this. Yeah. And that would have bumped Finn up to like the upper echelon, but literally has nothing to do with the entire movie. They just decided to make, okay, what can we do for Finn in this movie? Let's make him Force sensitive.
Because that would have been perfect to tie it right back to The Force Awakens, when Finn is a stormtrooper and they have to slaughter all these all the villagers and innocents,
and he decides not to, and then he
moves on,
and that inspires more people. to drop their blasters.
And then he meets this girl in this Rise of Skywalker, and she was also in the same position, but she chose to not shoot them as well, didn't she?
And all they had to do was, like, I totally agree
just
with
put
what
that
they
line
said.
in.
Dropped in an extra line of dialogue.
Put it all on him and make it sound like...
And that would have just made so much difference.
And then he's worth so much more. He's actually changed people. He's made them, realise this whole, thing.
All the Palpatine stuff, totally shit. Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it. They're just like, Rian Johnson killed Snoke. What are we going to do for this? We have to have some big bad.
And
let's bring back Palpatine. We have to somehow tie Rey to this saga.
Yeah.
She can't just be somebody who's come from nothing, who's just happened to fall into this situation. And
all the backup Snokes too. They had all these ones,
all the clones and shit
in a fucking jar.
Fucking
all these
kidding me?
Snokes in a jar, just sitting on the side.
I
so that made him feel like he was nothing from the beginning, and it's all Palpatine. And just like I said, the way they just kept doing the whole... This is what pissed me off through the whole movie, right?
General Hux as
there's
well.
No risk at all. And you feel no tension when anyone's at any risk of death, because you literally know they're all... they all fall through this pit, right? Which just, they just fall through this sand pit after the bloody... I can't remember. And, sorry, especially Chewie's one, right? I actually thought Chewie was gone. I was like, that's big. I was like, they just killed off Chewie.
Oh, yeah, they killed off Chewie.
And I was kind of like, wow, they did it.
And then literally in the next scene, they showed us he wasn't dead.
I know, and they did it.
But the characters like Finn, Ray, and Poe didn't know that he was dead until 5 minutes later when they're like, oh, Chewbacca's still alive.
Yeah. And then when they fall through that sand pit, and they're all at risk of dying with this big serpent thing under there, but... Rey has a healing power to fix it.
It
just felt very
new force abilities.
set up and played out like that's going to happen, and they're going to be okay. I felt like there's no way that animal's going to eat them, and the way they found the key right there and then, it's like the most important thing of the whole movie.
Was it the Sith blade?
Happened to be the blade,
the Sith blade,
right down there in that sand pit, and
convenience.
The way that...
Plot convenience.
Like Kylo Ren at the end gets blasted away and he apparently falls to his death. But I'm like, no, he'll be back. He'll climb up.
What did you think of Kylo Ren in this? Tying his... Honestly, this last trilogy of films, Adam Driver has been the best and most interesting thing in these last three movies.
I was about to say I liked him. I liked him in this. And I have liked his relationship with Rey. In this, the conflict between them, and it's the good and evil, and then there's also the bond they kind of have as well, because they got a bit of romance there and stuff. That was kind of interesting to watch and kept you interested. But then they have one kiss and then he just dies anyway, all for nothing. It's let's just...
And the problem with Star Wars as well, because they've mentioned the Knights of Ren in the last couple of movies, and they've showed them and stuff. They literally show them for 2 scenes in this, and there's nothing to them. Yeah. And it's that kind of thing where now that this is a franchise that's so big and it crosses multiple medias, TV shows, comic books, and that.
Yeah.
Here are the Knights of Ren. Okay, we don't know anything about them. If you go back and read this issue of this comic, you'll get everything you need to know about the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
I'm but what if I'm not interested in reading comics and I want to know it in this movie? I want this movie to tell me.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren should have been the big bad for the movie, because in the last movie he killed Snoke and became the supreme leader.
Yes,
and he should have had a flunky.
Yeah, you're right.
In the last movie we had Snoke, and then the kind of subservient, the next peg down bad guy was Kylo Ren. Yep. He's killed Snoke. He's taken the top spot. What should have been the next spot down were the Knights of Ren. Should have been. It should have been him on the ship and that, and him sending out this group of badass assassin fucking former Jedis to try and hunt Rey down. Whether he wants to kill her or he wants to capture her and try to turn her. And then if he turns back, if she manages to turn him again at the end of the movie, it would have had so much more weight.
You're right. That makes it so much more clearer that...
And it would have been more focused on those two. It would have been more focused on Kylo Ren and Rey.
Just you saying that's made me realise that it's so much clearer that the big corporate leaders of the whatever
Disney
have have chosen to be like, we need to touch on the nostalgia a bit more and get Palpatine back so that it draws more people like, oh, it's Palpatine, he's back.
Yeah, we need to
more
make
in.
it, yeah.
So, because Kylo Ren really was just more of a sidelined character. He was the side villain. He was not really and he wasn't even a villain.
He was meant to be the Vader to the Emperor.
We all knew he's going to be turned good. Everyone turns good, especially when you build a character like that.
But I thought that would have been much more interesting.
Yeah.
And then, like, that same scene that they had, like, I think it's where they're on the wreckage of, like, the second Death Star and all the waves and that crashing.
Oh, yes, yep.
And he's like, you should have taken my hand. And she was like, I did want to take your hand, but not Kylo Ren's. I wanted to take Ben's hand. And I was like, fuck, that is so good. That is such a good line. Like, that's hit me. That's weight. That's what I want.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't want to take Kylo Ren's hand. I wanted to take Ben's hand. And I'm like, good. That's awesome. That's a step in the right direction. But then it's just like, dead.
Everything played out so predictable. That's what got me. I was just like, I felt like I knew how the whole movie was going to play out.
The thing about the Star Wars trilogy is that Disney wanted to obviously make a trilogy. They wanted to capitalize on this franchise, this Star Wars thing that they've bought, and they want to make their money back. So they decide to make a movie. But then after the movie comes out, J.J. Abrams and that say, we have no idea where any of this was going to go. We just decided to do this. What there should have been was, they're like, okay, like, it's alright for us to say fucking armchair, fucking, whinges and that on the internet and shit, to say, they should have bloody done this and this. But seriously, if you're going to do a trilogy, from the beginning, you should have had a plan. Like, this is the thread line through these 3 films that we want to do. And then they said we're going to have a different director every movie. But these big companies and that, same with Marvel, they don't want these directors and that. They don't really want to give them an artistic voice. They don't want to make the movies theirs. The closest we got in Marvel is like James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy. That was very lucky. But still, that's, it's still very much a Marvel film and it's within constraints. So there's no real artistic creation in it. It's the studio heads, because producers pretty much make movies now. It's not directors. Directors don't really have a say. Unless it's a small indie film or it's something they've done themselves and then they sell it off to studios or whatever. It's producers who call all the shots, who decide the movies and that. Now, they should have had a thread line through and go, these are all the beats you have to hit through the trilogy. Aside from this, you can do whatever you want. But these are all the things you have to hit to the end of this trilogy. This is how we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
This is the 6-7 year plan we've got for this trilogy of movies. But like, nah, they just make it up as they go. After The Force Awakens come out, they give the second movie to Rian Johnson and give him full creative control to do whatever he wants. And then he comes in, and I actually still think The Last Jedi is the best movie out of these 3. It's the one that actually takes risks and tries to do something different. Whether you agree with it or not, it's the ballsiest movie out of the 3. And I did like a lot of stuff in The Last Jedi. And now, with The Last Skywalker, or The Rise of Skywalker, what they're trying to do is they're trying to finish a trilogy, they're trying to wrap up an entire saga, they're trying to deliver what people want, and they're trying to make up mistakes or things that people didn't like in the last movie. Rey going to burn everything and throw the lightsaber in, and Luke's Force Ghost grabs the lightsaber and he walks out and he's like, a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect or whatever.
That's just like trying to make up for what he did in The Last Jedi. When
he's like, I thought about it now and I realized I was wrong.
That was ridiculous in The Last Jedi. He just like threw it over his shoulder. He's like it was nothing. And it's like, that just makes his character make no sense.
General Hux was wasted. I like General Hux in The Force Awakens. Didn't like him so much they made him a comedy punchline in The Last Jedi, and even worse so in this one. Like Domhnall Gleeson, I would be ashamed to be in these movies. I'm just like, I'm just a joke.
Well, I'm glad The Mandalorian happened and was so successful, because I think that's going to kind of shape Star Wars for the future. I think it's actually going to make them realize, okay, we need to kind of take a few notes here and see what they did right, and then they'll follow them steps.
I think Star Wars really is a very limited premise because, people can't figure out. That's the conundrum. Disney paid so much money for this, and they don't want to fuck with the formula. Because they know if they do the formula right, the formula works. And it makes lots of money. and that's what they want, lots of money. But they don't want to stray from the formula too much. Just look at Solo. They got these 2 young guys in. Oh, we want them to come in and do their thing, and they'll make a great Star Wars movie. It was too different. They were ad-libbing lines and that. It's not what we wanted. They fired them, and they brought in a guy who would deliver something that they wanted. It ended up costing them pretty much twice the budget. Look what happened with that. Now look at the Rise of Skywalker, trying to pick up the pieces. It's only made... Well, it's been out for nearly a month. It's made just over $1 billion. Not that that's like nothing to scoff at, but you look at the money this has made. What's this been out for, like 4 or 5 weeks? Like, look at the 5-week mark for like The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens. It's, you know, getting toward the 2 billion mark, or, you know, it's 1.8 or whatever. Like, I don't, you know, maybe Rise of Skywalker might crawl to like 1.3, 1.5, maybe more. Like, I don't know. But it's not going to make anywhere near 2. I think it's the lowest reviewed, lowest scored. It like you're looking at the prequels and shit. Like, I watched Revenge of the Sith again like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, fuck, there's so much bad stuff in this movie.
Do you feel
this feels like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It feels like a Star Wars movie.
Do you feel like it's beat the... So the ones in the early 2000s, was that a trilogy as well? Was
the prequels, yeah.
That was a trilogy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you feel like it's beaten that trilogy, or do you like the early 2000s trilogies better than this? Because I know they're both they both flopped in a way.
Well, you look at the prequels, and to me, the prequels feel very Star Warsy. They do feel like set in the Star Wars universe.
Especially they enhanced the lightsaber fights. That's where they evolved the lightsaber fights to be what they are. But
it's all just like, you know, ballet. It's more like dancing than anything. It's not really a battle.
Yeah, true.
You know, but those are bad movies. Like, you watch them and they're bad movies. And all the green screen stuff they've done, like, it's really bad. Like, you can...
And too much...
It's obvious. It's super obvious. Whereas
political shit. Too much political shit too. It's boring.
Yeah, like trade routes and
they're
shit
just like
that.
let's just abandon all the Star Wars
midi-chlorians,
entertaining Star Wars stuff, and let's just sit around in a council room and talk.
Yeah, let's take all the fun and adventure out of it.
Let's get all the politicians in, and we'll start just doing that.
Whereas these movies, the 3 new movies, are better made. They're better quality. They look better. They're more competent movies. They're not satisfying. And like Rey, Finn, and Poe are meant to obviously be the new Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yeah.
But you look at like getting toward the end of The Last Jedi, like you get to the end of the second movie, and Rey and Poe, it's like their first introduction. He's like, oh, so you're Rey. Yeah, I'm Poe. Nice to meet you. And that's right at the end of the second movie. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They should be friends already from the first movie. Like, why are they just meeting now?
Because a lot of people spend so much time separated, and they're always doing their own thing. But they're on
the same fucking base in the first movie. Like, I don't know. The Rise of Skywalker is total, utter fucking trash.
All 3, like, they're kind of pretty soulless in a lot of ways. Like, they are still good in a way. I mean, not completely soulless. They still have, you know, a lot of elements there, but not to the point like what we'd get out of the original ones from the 80s and such. So, you know, it's not like that. You don't. It's almost like they're trying to recreate that too much rather than doing something new. Like, you always need to just take your own thing and do it new, rather than trying to make a whole new group and replace them. And, you know, you don't want to do it like that.
I don't know. I'm done with Star Wars movies.
Just
give me The Mandalorian. Give me The Mandalorian. Give me the final season of the Clone Wars.
Give me some more Baby Yoda.
Give me some more Baby Yoda. I'm down for that, you know. Give me some more Clone Wars. I'm done. Patrick Brown, would you recommend The Rise of Skywalker?
No, not really. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend it. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're probably going to go watch it anyway. If a mate of yours
brought it round on DVD, he's like, hey, do you want to watch this? And you're like, I've got nothing else to watch tonight. I guess I can watch it. Then yeah. I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't even think I would go that far. I have no need to watch it again.
What would you give The Rise of Skywalker out of 5?
Personally, I would probably only give it like a... Oh, look. It's hard to say. You know what? I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give it a 3 because of all the snazzy effects and all the action is quite entertaining. You know, it is entertaining. It's got all that, but it doesn't have, you know, the rest is just flat. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
I give it a 2, and that's being very generous.
Yeah,
it's really about a 1.5, but I'm giving it a 2 because that's generous. Right, that's it. Rise of Skywalker done.
Yep.
Now we saw 1917. Absolutely brilliant.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. I totally recommend it.
There
Done.
you go.
Lock
That's
it in.
me.
No,
that was amazing.
What a fucking good start to the year. Like, we're just like, you messaged me. I'm thinking about going to see 1917. Do you want to come? And I was like, I want to go see 1917. Fuck yeah, I want to come. I want to see how they pull off this movie. Because it's all meant to be one shot, one take, or the illusion of one take. Like, it's just, the camera just follows them from start to finish.
Which worked perfectly. Yeah. It's great.
We could see, like, in the beginning, like in the first, like, 20 minutes, I was, like, watching, and I was, like, going to you, like, they walk through a tunnel, and it went all black, and then they come out, and I'm like, boom, El Wedger, I'm like, there's a cut. There's a cut there. There's a cut there. And then after about half hour, I just forgot about all that because I was totally fucking sucked into the movie.
Do you know what really, for me, I've been thinking about it, right, for the past, whenever I saw it, week and a half or whatever.
A week and a half ago.
So I've been thinking about it a lot because it's been popping in my mind every now and then. I'm like, the thing that really, that has just made that movie just sit with me. And the way that when I was just sitting there when the credits started rolling and I was just in awe, I was just like amazed. And I think that really did all come down to the choice that they made to do it in one take. I think that was just the smartest move because...
Especially for this type of movie as well. Yeah. Like a war set film.
Exactly. For one reason it'll stand out from a lot of other movies because it's like, well, this war movie is done in one take, but it's not just that. It works because it makes you feel more like you are involved and that It
creates a more immersive experience.
It does. Cuts really do. It makes you open your eyes a bit more. Cuts make
editing.
To editing, yeah. And they really they kind of take away from the movie in a way that you wouldn't even think of.
Because this movie is tense and tense. Like, it's super intense. Like, one of my favorite scenes is where, because the premise of the movie is the Allies in World War One, they find out the Germans are retreating from the front line, and a couple of platoons of British soldiers are chasing them down. And then British command, intelligence that have found out that it's actually a trap. And these guys are going to be slaughtered the next day. You know, they're going to attack them, but that's exactly what the Nazis want them to do. And
this guy's brother is going to be in that group as well. He's going to be slaughtered too, so he's got more of a personal involvement. And
so they send these 2 young guys to deliver these orders to stop the attack, and they've got to make it there before the next morning.
Yep.
And there's a little more emotional relevance in that there because one of the guys, his elder brother, is a member of one of those platoons. And so it's these 2 young guys trying to get to these platoons of guys to deliver these orders to stop the attack so all these, it's like 1,600 English soldiers don't get massacred by the Germans who have laid a trap for them.
Good storyline straight off the bat.
Crossing no man's land, like, toward the start. This is like 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking epic. I will say, like, I'm going to say this straight up. I said this on my Instagram post the other week after we watched it. If you go to see 1917, try to find the best, most immersive cinema experience you can. If it's IMAX, go to IMAX. If it's 40X, you know, where the fucking seats moves and they spray you with water and all that sort of shit,
4D.
Go see that. 40X. If it's gold class, where the screen's just kind of wrapped around your peripheral, then go there. Like, the single best immersive experience you can, go and see it in that, because that's where you'll get the most out of it. I'm going to Melbourne next week, and the bloke I'm going with, he wants to see it. So if we can squeeze in like an IMAX or a gold class session, we're definitely doing it. Yeah.
Do it.
I fucking loved this movie. We talked about editing when it was done, like when we were in the car park, we were talking afterwards. And I said, look at a movie like one of the more famous war movies of the last like 20, 25 years, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, there's a scene where the squad in that walking through a town or whatever, and then it cuts to the next scene, and they're walking across a grassy field, and they're all spread out, and there's no indication of distance, of time, how long it's been.
Yeah.
You're just following the movie and following these guys.
Yeah.
But when it's unbroken and you're following these guys from start to finish,
night and day as well.
Night and day, crossing no man's land, like watching all the bodies, like
every minute,
rotting, the rats climbing over the bodies, slipping down muddy banks into water.
You feel like every minute you're experiencing is every minute they're experiencing. You kind of feel a bit more tied to them.
And it's brilliant. I honestly think, like, I do enjoy, like, war films and stuff.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, like, World War II film is Great Escape. But I, like, this has shot, like, to the top of, like, favorite war films. Like, I can't wait to see this again. And amazing to watch this with someone else, like, you know, and to see their, like, first experience with it, because I love this movie.
One of the things,
very simple premise, but the filmmaking style and the way it's shot and the way it's done is fucking brilliant.
One of the things I thought when going into it, I thought, my worry was like, since it's supposed to be one take, does that mean it's maybe going to be a bit more boring in a way? Because there are, you know, it's more one take. It's more, you know, you don't get the cuts. And this is just from me, like, with my phone, for instance.
Yeah.
Just in the past year, I've been playing around, you know, if I record something, you know, everyone's phones, it's usually just one take, you know, when you're taking a video of something. But lately on my phone, there's a little pause feature, and you can pause your recording, and then you'll just wait for the next cool moment, press the record, and it will still do it in the one video. So it does the cuts and stuff. And it's just been making my videos a lot more entertaining. And that's what made me think, like, doing this 1917 in one take, is that going to make it more boring? But I was totally wrong. Through this, there's tension the whole way. You just you know, these guys, you're just soaked into their lives, and you just want to see every minute. And it really is not, it's not even the case at all. It's not boring. It just changes the experience. It's like we've said already, it's just the experience, the cinema experience, is just more involved. You feel like you're in there with them, and you're standing right. It's like you're standing right behind them, and you're one of the team or something.
And it really, like, one good thing about doing like an unbroken shot movie is that it really sells you scale.
Yep.
Like, because a lot of movies you watch and there's, like, lots of jump cutting, somebody running through a city, and it's like cut, run around a corner, cut, run around another corner. And then somebody who watches that movie, who lives in that city, goes, that's, like, he's going to run around that corner, and that street is on the other side of the city. You know, that's not there. So you kind of get that, you know, there's that unbroken. There's a movie that was actually shot in my hometown that you've seen, that horror movie, that really bad one. And, like, there's a scene where the girl walks down the bottom of the street and she rounds the corner and then she comes out again and it's shot at another place on the other side of town. Like, that's over near the footy club rooms. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's not where that is. Bloody editing.
Yeah.
But, like, especially in the No Man's Land sequence at the start, like the front lines, like, you fucking, it absolutely sells you that scale.
It does.
And when I was watching it, I was like, fuck, this set, like, this frontline set must be fucking huge. And the way it was planned out to, like, capture, like, dead bodies in puddles, bodies you can barely see because they've been covered by dirt. You can only see, like, a foot hanging out or a little bit of a shoulder and an arm hanging out because they're buried by dirt and debris.
Like, they've been there for weeks.
Yeah. And rats climbing over the bodies and picking at the bodies and stuff and crawling through barbed wire, and that really sells the scale. I don't want to say too much about it. It's just, like, I just want you to go see it. I want you to experience it. It's fucking brilliant.
I almost felt like it's a new cinema experience for me, because I don't feel like I've experienced that kind of thing.
I feel like it's a very difficult one as well.
It was almost like going into a video game and you got VR or something. That's what it felt like, because you feel like you're in the world with them. It's strange. It was bizarre, but also exhilarating. It really just made you feel, really, really good. It was entertaining.
Yeah, I loved it. And it's just like the distance traveled and the changing areas. So they're, like, kind of, on this grassy plain sitting under the trees, and then they go down into the British trenches, and then they go up into the front lines, and they cross the front lines, and then they go down to the German trenches. They come out from the German trenches, then they're in a bit of woods, and they come out and they're just like grassy fields. Yeah. And they go down to a burnt out farmhouse, and then they're at like a farmstead, and then they go up this gravel road, and it's dirt roads, and then they're in a town, in a city or whatever, and then it's just the difference of areas and terrain, and that really breaks it up. It's a beautiful film too. It looks amazing. Yeah. I really liked it. I forget the guy who's like the main character. I forget his fucking name, but he's brilliant. He was in what was it? The fucking Stephen King show with James Franco, where they go back in time to stop JFK's assassination. 11/22/63.
Oh, that was great, that show. Yeah.
He played the guy who found out, who told him, and then he pretended to be his brother, like when he was trying to help him save.
I was wondering where I've seen him before,
And he's going to be, I think he plays Ned Kelly in this new Ned Kelly movie that's going to be on Stan on Monday, The True History of the Kelly Gang or whatever. Yeah. And his Australian accent is fucking impeccable.
Yeah, nice.
Even though Ned Kelly had an Irish accent, but that's neither here nor there. But no, it was good. I loved it.
And all the other stuff aside, like all the effects and the one take thing aside, the story alone and just the acting and the way they just pulled it off was
gripping,
pure, just perfect. Like the story is just great, and I personally love just simple stuff like that, just straightforward. There's just all they got is get A to B. There's a message to deliver, and it's just, but the stuff he does along the way and the survival factor of it and trying to just survive every minute, every day. There's always something trying to kill him or
there's a new challenge to overcome.
Yeah. So,
and by the end of the movie, like, he's exhausted and fuck, like, like I feel exhausted.
You feel the
as well.
exhausted.
Like, yeah.
So that's what I love. I love that. Yeah. It reminded me of the exhaustion part of it. Reminded me of like Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh, yeah.
Old Snake.
Fuck yeah.
By the end of the game, Old Snake, and he's just exhausted. And he's like, he's trying to fight, and he's just like, there's a slog of the punches. He's like real slow. And it just reminded me of that. It was great. I love that kind of shit.
Yeah. Fair to say you'd recommend 1917 then?
I would.
I would resoundingly recommend 1917.
Yep.
What would you give it out of 5?
5.
I'd probably give it a 5 as well. I'm not hesitant.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it.
Nah.
Not at all. That's why I give it a perfect 5. There's not a bad thing that I could say about that movie at all. And I don't say that much.
Now, Pat, this is a first, but I'm going to throw the reins over to you.
Yeah.
You're in charge. You take the ball and run with it, because you saw Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, yes,
and I want you to tell me a little bit about your history with Bad Boys,
mate.
And tell me about the movie. I don't care. Tell me whatever.
Let's do a no spoiler review.
All right, tell me.
So I don't want to spoil it because it's quite fresh still. But you're in for a treat, I'll tell you. So
tell me all about it.
Anyway, so my involvement with Bad Boys, right? So I'm a big fan. I
know about your involvement with Bad Boys too. Come on.
Oh, I love it.
You're going to tell that story? Come on.
It's not really.
Patrick Brown was trying to woo a girl.
It was just a date.
And he's like, let's go out. And she's like, oh, you want to go to the movies? Pat's like, I'll take you to the movies. You're like, oh, what are we going to see? Let's go see Bad Boys 2. Because I've already seen it. And
I already saw it. I know, like, this is the thing.
And you took her to see Bad Boys 2.
I had seen the movie already, so I knew that the movie was good. And my idea was like, I was looking at everything else in the cinema, and I was like, well, out of all of them, I thought, well, I've already seen this, and I know it's great. So
I love how you rationalize that. You're like, no, it was actually pretty good, so we'll just go see that.
Yeah, like, my first viewing of it, so I saw it alone, and this is Bad Boys 2 I'm talking about. It was great.
Ooh-sa.
Yeah, it was just, at that time in my life, this is back when I was
when you were 17.
17. And I think I just kind of needed that kind of movie. It was just like the right time because I was really, I'd played a bunch of Grand Theft Auto. I loved, just love all that kind of crime and action.
Is Bad Boys 2 the closest to a GTA movie you're going to get?
Yeah, and it had Miami, and I was massive into Vice City, so it had all the Miami elements. Right. Everything.
Will Smith, Big Willie style,
and it just blew me away. And the whole Michael Bay side of it with the the big action and
the mayhem.
But for me, for some reason, the action wasn't too over the top. It felt like just right. Like it wasn't too silly and crazy, which I know a lot of people probably think it is. But, first Bad Boys, I liked. I think I just liked. I was like, that was a good movie. That was good. But then I saw Bad Boys 2. That blew me away. That's the one that really blew me away. And then I just waited for it. I was like, I need Bad Boys 3. And I'd waited and waited and waited. And then what? 16 years later or...
Forever.
What? How long? I don't know.
One eternity
a long
later.
Time. And I heard that they're finally doing the third one. And I was absolutely stoked. But I still didn't get my hopes up. I was like, I'm going to wait until I at least see a trailer. Then I'll get happy, like stoked about it. And yeah, it happened. And it came out. I went and saw it.
What'd you think?
And look, to be honest, overall, I'm going to say it now, it's great. And it is on par with 2.
Is it the second best movie you've seen so far this year? Or is
yes.
it better than 1917?
No, not better than 1917.
Okay.
No, not that.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, different kind of movies. Yeah, but overall experience, I think, 1917 was more of a mind blower. This one was. It's just if you like especially Bad Boys 2 and 1, I would say this is just almost the same, but a bit better. Even like. Look, that's hard to say. I still think 2 is my favourite overall. I think that one hits all the beats perfectly, and it's just entertaining right through. It's just amazing. This one hits all the beats the same. It's just...
they're older.
It's just about the same, but a little bit under 2. It's right up there though, and It's hilarious. It's funny. Martin Lawrence carries the whole movie. Will Smith is great too. He was really good. But I was literally laughing like every 5-10 minutes, just like cacking it.
Every 5 minutes. Like, I laughed once every 5 minutes.
Oh, basically whenever there's joke, because it's not.
Yeah, I get you.
It's not saturated with like.
They're just hacking on you.
Yeah, it's not like.
To be fair, when we went and saw 1917, they played the trailer, and there was a gag at the end of the trailer which I actually hadn't seen, and it made me laugh. Fucking made me laugh. I was like, geez, that was actually funny, Patrick Brown. I don't understand. Did you stay for the after credits? Apparently, there was an after credits scene.
I saw,
setting up another Bad Boys movie.
2 credit scenes, and they're
Bad Boys for Life.
At the start of the credits. Yeah, they lined it up for another one.
What they'll call it is Bad Boys 4, the number 4.
Yeah,
Life.
That's what I thought they would do.
Bad Boys 4 Life 2.
That's why I thought they'd save this title for the 4th one, because it made more sense to be like Bad Boys 4 Life.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that.
They dropped the ball there.
They've kind of jumped the gun. I think they know, because maybe if this didn't work out, then it'd be a dead end.
Can you give me a rough plot outline?
Yeah. So basically, all right. So it's a little. When I say it, it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but when you're watching it, it's gonna like, okay, I'll accept it. So basically, the plot is they explain that they've been they're still been doing their cop thing. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith have been doing their cop thing still. They're partners.
Bad Boys
doing it for a while now. Yeah. Yep. But Martin Lawrence, he's kind of wants to settle down into the more family life, but
he's middle-aged.
Yeah. But the plot really is mainly about someone's trying to kill Will Smith. He's got like an assassin after him.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind that, because it's ties in. Actually, I won't say too much because that is actually spoiling it, but it's kind of tying it back to him before Bad Boys 1 kind of thing. They're trying to do that, but he's got a hitman after him that he's trying to kill him, and they're basically trying to prevent that. There's a lot of stuff that happens there. Really, I can't say much without spoiling the movie, so I'm just trying to think of it now.
Actually wanted to go.
The guy that is trying to kill him is really good.
Yeah.
It's almost like the action is almost...
Is it Jason Statham?
No, I was going to say it's almost like Jason Bourne trying to kill him.
Oh, okay.
The fight scenes are great. Like, they're like when they fight and they're clashing and stuff, it's really good. They also introduce a new kind of like a SWAT team that kind of help them out.
Are they all super young people?
They're young. They got the Vanessa Hudgens from High School Musical and a couple other dudes, but I went in open-minded. At first on the trailers, I kind of was like...
Is it like the Expendables 3 where they got Sly and then they have like the super young people crew?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, try to keep up, old man.
That's kind of exactly what it is.
Yeah,
and
I knew it.
In the trailer, I was a bit cringe at first. I was like, oh, they're going to do a Force Awakens and try and introduce the younger generation and like weasel the franchise onto the younger ones.
Bad kids.
And so the older ones can phase out and the new one, and then they can keep the franchise going. But to be honest, it worked. They actually really worked with this younger SWAT team. They were more on the sidelines. So the whole movie is still with what we love. It's got everything you love. They're still on the sidelines, but then by the end, they're still kind of moving in a bit more in the middle. So it's more evened out. And they have a bit more of a role. And it actually worked. Like, I liked the team. I love Vanessa. Vanessa Hudgens was actually pretty badass. And the other dudes, they got this... The funniest part was they've got a tech guy, right? So he's supposed to be like the hacker. He's really smart. He's good at computers. But he's built like a brick shithouse. He's tall. He's like 6.5 foot, and he's like real muscly, and they're like, why isn't he doing all the muscle work, like, being taking guys down and getting dirty?
He's just a tech guy,
but he's like real kind of just like, I just want to do my computer stuff. he's like just tapping away on the computer and that, and so that was kind of a funny take, because they're always like, it's a in joke. They're like, they use that as a couple of jokes and stuff with him, and but. And there's another guy who's like the arsehole. He's like the easy of the thing. And
there's always one.
There's like an easy everywhere. Yeah. But,
you know that one friend who's an asshole, but he's your asshole.
He's our asshole.
Yeah,
that's that. They got him in there, and but it worked. It really worked, and especially with the captain, who's always like, the Woo Saga. He's like spits.
Jimmy Pants.
Yeah, he's always like swearing and like kicking shit, and he was great in this, and he was solid, and. It's almost like having the whole team back. What really made it for me was the first like 20 minutes when you're watching, and Martin Lawrence is kind of you go back and you see his family and stuff, and they've got the whole cast of the originals. Like, his daughter is the same girl.
You said Reggie was back?
They even had Reggie back. So like, it's not really a spoiler, but the first 10 minutes or so, they go in and she's having her first baby, and Reggie's the father. And
shit.
And he's like wearing his like army outfit because he's just come back from the war or something. And it's Reggie. It's like fucking Reggie from 2. And that's the same guy that from number 2, he was like this 16-year-old kid trying to pick up the daughter at the front door, and they're trying to
I remember that
warn
scene.
him off.
Yeah.
They're like flexing at him and stuff. And so it was great to see him back, the same casting, and that just kind of made it like big laughs. Everyone in the whole cinema just cacked it. And it's a good movie when the movie's done and everyone's clapping. Like, that's what it was. Everyone in the cinema was just clapping.
Okay.
Big applause for it. So
yeah, right.
I was happy with that.
Joey Pants, by the way, not Jimmy Pants, fucking idiot.
Sorry.
No, that was me.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good then. I actually wanted to go. You text me and you're like, oh, mate, I'm going to see the movie tonight. Do you want to come? I was like, fuck, I want to, but I'm going to a wedding.
The wedding, yeah.
So I went to a wedding. Food was good, though, and there was free booze. But, it was pretty good. Lots of praying. It was good.
Yeah. That's a good watch.
So you'd recommend Bad Boys for Life?
I would.
What would you give it out of 5, Patrick Brown?
I would give it... Oh, can I give it a 4.5?
You do whatever you want, mate. You're calling the shots.
4.5, so I can go halves. Yeah, I'll go 4.5. I'll give it a good 4.5 out of 5.
That's a big call. I'd still like to watch it, actually. I wouldn't mind going to see it.
See, because I give Bad Boys 2 like a 5 out of 5.
Oh, really?
I do.
Jesus, I still can't get over that scene where they fucking... The corpses are falling out of the back and they're running over them all. It's just like,
I love that.
I
love that.
Too much.
I love all that.
It's too much. It's too real. It's like the episode of Black Mirror I just watched. It's too real. It's too real. Why am I relating so much to this episode of Black Mirror?
So this new movie, like, even if you haven't seen the other ones, this is a good laugh. Just go watch it. Like, it's just entertaining. You don't have to watch them all to get into this.
Speaking of movies, one movie I actually would like to talk about. I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to watch it. And when I watch it, I would like to talk about it. Maybe on my own, or maybe with you or someone else. But The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
I've been curious about that.
Apparently, it's getting an Australian release on the 6th of February. But I checked on Village, they haven't got it, like, any listings or anything for it. But I imagine the Star Theatre will probably get it. So if they do, I do really want to go watch that. Because I'm a big fan of Robert Eggers. I like The Witch. I quite like The Witch, actually. So I'm really keen to see what he does with this one.
So I've been a bit, like, kind of, no, not scared to watch it. Just kind of more, like, wary. Because I don't know whether I'd, like... Black and white and all the...
Sometimes you got to challenge yourself, Patrick Brown.
But the thing is, I love Willem Dafoe. I love him as an actor. And I love Robert Pattinson. He does great movies. His last 10 years has been great in movies. Like Good Times. What was that space movie you were trying to get me to watch? What was that one?
Oh, what's that called? The space flick. Where he's in space. Where he's the astronaut.
It's got a weird name to it. It's a good movie though. He's a prisoner in space.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
For science, he's been sent out to space, and they just chuck him out there like guinea pigs.
That would actually be something good because you and I did talk about I'm talking about everything today.
Yeah.
You remember Patrick and I actually decided we thought we'd maybe try a new segment or a new kind of sub show. What were we going to call it? I haven't watched or I haven't read or whatever. I've never or whatever.
Never ever have I. Something rather.
Never ever. I have never or whatever.
Or something like
for short. Yeah. So pretty much the premise of the episodes would be that Pat and I would take turns in picking something for the other person to watch, something that they necessarily perhaps haven't seen
or would choose
or would choose themselves to watch. And for them to watch it and then for us to come in and do a show. And I'm like, okay, I got this bunch of questions. Pat, I chose this movie for you to watch. It's not something that you would normally have watched. What did you think of it? Did you actually like it? Would you try something like this again? So that's something we've talked about doing. So we just talked about taking turns. So I'd pick something and then Pat would pick something for me and we'd go back and forward. But yeah, that's something we had talked about. So maybe that's kind of like a good kind of maybe warm up into that. Maybe you could go see The Lighthouse and we could sit down and be like, you know what? This isn't actually something that I would probably normally seek on my own, but I did like this, I didn't like this is the reason why, blah, 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 but it was interesting all the same. I can appreciate it for this, and this, but, you know.
You just reminded me, I had a movie recently that I had in line for you.
You were going to tell me about.
Yeah, I haven't told you.
I got so fucking many movies for you to watch, man.
I got a couple
I am
going
to fuck your brain with some dark shit.
Oh, what's it called? What's it called?
Who's in it?
I can't even tell you because it's such a it's a cast, unknown cast. It's like a movie from last year. So
what's it about?
2019. What's it called?
Just what's it about? Tell me what's it about.
So it's basically about it's like a modern day take on The Sword in the Stone. You know.
Oh, the kid who would be king.
Yes.
It's about the school kids.
It's called The Kid Who Would Be King.
The Kid Who Would Be King.
Have you heard about it?
And it's got Patrick Stewart and that in it?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I know about it, haven't seen it.
That's one on the list I was going to give you because that is a solid watch.
Yep. It's like the school kid, he actually finds Excalibur or whatever or something like that.
And it's something that I know you would never have picked up or even bothered probably to watch.
Yeah.
But it is gold. It's a gem. So if you ever...
Okay, maybe we'll try that.
I'm going to put that on your list. And I want you to, when you watch it, I want you to keep an open mind because...
Oh, fuck yeah.
At the start, it's like... so it's kind of like a UK movie. It's you know, based in the UK and the stuff. And obviously it's based around the kid who's probably only 10 or so, you know, and it's his group of friends, things like that. So it's a movie kind of, you know, at first you actually think it's kind of like a kid movie, like it's just suited for kids, but it's actually a bit more.
It's a bit
pushed
dark.
towards the M audience.
It's a bit edgier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when I was finished watching, I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "This is on par with like Lord of the Rings or something for me." That's the level it goes to.
I want to watch it now.
It apparently had a really big budget, and it just didn't reel in the money to make it. But I heard it
got some pretty good reviews.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's got great reviews, but it just never got its money back because it wasn't well known enough.
Yeah,
and so it's not necessarily a flop because it's actually a great movie. It just didn't get its money back.
Yeah, It's one of those ones to discover on streaming services or DVD or whatever. Yeah.
But honestly, I watched it, I was like, this is great. And I watched it with Mason with me. I had to close his eyes in a few bits because it actually gets pretty full on and creepy in some bits. And I don't want to spoil much for you, but it's great. It's really good. It's like a big adventure movie, straight through and through, and it's not boring. The pacing's great. Acting is great. Everything. It's solid. It's so good.
Cool.
So I want to get that on the list for you.
All right, we'll put that on the list because I got some shit for you. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up, mate, because I got to get up in like 6 hours and go to work.
Yeah. All right.
So this was a pretty good impromptu episode. In that we covered a lot of shit we've been meaning to talk about. I've had a lot of whiskey. A lot of whiskey, but fuck, it's so good.
Yeah, I got to work tomorrow as well, so I'm hoping it's not going to give me a hangover.
You drunk motherfucker.
A hungover, I nearly said.
Irresponsible motherfucker.
Oh, what am I doing?
Thanks for coming in, mate. Oh, we're coming to visit and that, and deciding to jump in the cave for an impromptu recording session.
Always.
Thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate you greatly, and we'll see you next time in the Bearded Geeks.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's go play some GTA.
Let's go play some GTA. Just kiss me.
Pash me.